So now that I've shushed you for 40 minutes straight.
Yes, Leanne has been shushing us
Nobody
nonstop.
knows. Now we won't talk for 15 minutes. I'm just afraid to talk. Sorry.
Save it for the podcast. Save it for the podcast.
Save it. So you were saying, Kathy,
I was saying nothing.
Yes, you were. Yes, you were.
I said I'm so cold all the time.
Exactly.
That's nothing.
Exactly. Why are you always cold?
I have no idea.
Because you have 0% body fat.
Exactly.
I wish I had 0% body
Oh
fat.
my God,
Oh,
Kathy.
Kathy.
No, you know what I have to say? This is so not what I want to talk about, but I feel like this always happens the week before I get my period. Something hormonally happens and I fucking cannot get warm to
that's
save
interesting.
my life. It happens July. Like, it doesn't matter.
Huh. You're cold in July? In the valley?
Yeah.
How?
Like sweater
Impossible.
on inside. Like,
You
I don't know what
have
is wrong
problems.
with me, but like, I
Okay.
think it's something hormonal.
I
that is
hear
happening.
you on the hormonal, but I also am digging in my heels about the 0% body fat.
Agree.
Yes.
And
No,
I'm going to ask
Kirsten.
another question that Kathy will love. Have you asked a doctor about this, Kathy?
Oh.
This actually has
Last
been
time.
my whole life. And you know what I
Wow.
mean? It's not something new. It's not different. It just
Right.
has always happened. And I don't know. I just sort of have always associated it with that. And it could be totally wrong.
Yeah,
It may
totally.
not be
But-
that at all, but
Unrelated note. Have you booked your physical?
no.
Okay,
I have
so
not. I have thought about it, actually.
that's what you said every time we've asked you. I have thought about it, actually. Well, yeah, I've thought about buying a Ferrari, but haven't done that either.
I've not thought about buying a Ferrari.
I haven't either, really.
Nor
But
have
I was trying to be quick-witted, okay?
No, actually, I was like, I need to sit down and find a doctor and actually make an appointment. I just haven't done it yet, but it is actually on my brain. Whereas
Uh-huh.
before, I'm like, yeah, whatever.
And we're
Can I
here
make
to...
it? Can I make an appointment for you with a doctor of my choice? Because
If they take my insurance.
I'm going today to get a mammogram, which I was,
Good for you.
Ooh,
you
that
know,
sounds
supposed to go every
fun.
2 years.
Yeah.
I didn't go the last time, so it's been 4 years, and that's been bothering me for a full 2 years. Like, it's been in the back of my brain going, you got to book that mammogram. You got to book that mammogram for 2 fucking years. Sorry.
Don't
for the
yell at
F-bomb.
me.
No, I'm not yelling
Like,
at you.
but it's the same thing. I'm like, it's
It
in the back
is.
of my head, like, oh, I have to make that appointment. I have to make that appointment. And
Yeah.
now it's like 7
Okay,
years
when
later.
is
Right.
your appointment, Leanne?
At 1 today.
Oh, it's today.
Uh-huh.
Great. So I will be your accountability bully, your friendly accountability bully. The bully for good.
I don't need 2 of you.
Well,
For the love of God.
I think you do.
I
though.
say we tag team and text her
kinda
every
do.
day. You take Monday, Wednesday, Friday. I'll take Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday, Sunday, and we go, how about that doctor's appointment? How about that doctor's appointment? How about that doctor's appointment?
Turning my phone off.
I mean, you need
Kathy
to go to the
doesn't reply to
doctor.
text anyway. Like, it's
That's
just
true. That's true. That's true.
True.
Yes. She's like,
Fine,
I
I'll
can't deal
leave
with
it
that now.
on. Yeah.
I can't deal with it now. I can't deal with that now. Same as the doctor's
It's all
appointment.
very true.
I can't deal with that now. So what do you need to have happen for that to happen?
I don't know. I just need to think about it. Like when I have a moment to sit down and find a doctor in my insurance. You know what I mean? Like it's just never a priority, which is not good.
No.
So that is
But-
a power hour thing. That is something that you
In
need
theory,
to
it should be,
literally
yeah.
schedule.
No,
and
not in
go.
theory. It is.
Literally,
'cause
like,
it takes 2
okay,
minutes. But the
maybe I'm too
problem is, I
busy
sit
today,
down
but
and I'm like, oh my God, wait a minute. When is Max's follow-up appointment? Oh my God, it's not on my calendar. So then I'm like, I spiral out and I call his doctor and I figure out when his appointment is. And then I'm like, oh my God, I have to make Lily a pulmonologist appointment. And I do that. And all of that stuff gets taken care of and nothing else. And then power hour's over. I'm like, oh yeah, moving on. So
Well, you need to put it on the top of your power hour
yeah,
list.
I know.
Because I love you and I don't want anything to happen to you.
and also,
And
I
I
know.
think you're healthy.
and my feeling about you are such a good mom. You're so on top of your kids. Lily is not going to not get to the pulmonologist. I guarantee it.
Yeah.
Even if it comes into your
You
brain,
know, she had a
at that
broken finger
moment-
for 3 weeks that I didn't address.
But that
Just FYI.
that wasn't because you didn't address it. That was because it didn't seem broken. We've all
Right.
done that.
Yeah.
We've literally all done that.
Oh,
as
100% I've
parents.
done that. Yes.
I mean, I just did it last year with Vivian. We were like, oh, it's not broken. I mean, she's not crying. She's not
Yeah.
upset. There's nothing. It's not swollen. There's not, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So your kids are not going to go without medical care. I guarantee it. I know you, Leanne,
very
can back
true.
me up on this.
100%.
So
yeah.
your power hour should be devoted only to scouring finding yourself a doctor and making that appointment.
I agree.
Yes.
Yeah, it won't even take an hour, I don't think.
No, it might
doesn't
take
take.
you 15 minutes.
Yeah, I know.
So, but then, so then I start asking this, what is behind that? Why is it taking you so? Because for me, what's behind the mammogram? I don't know. Just too busy, genuinely, because I always go to my physical. I do my physical every year. So it's not that I'm not taking care of my health. It's that one thing for some reason I just couldn't get to. But then I did exactly what you're talking about. On my power hour, the top of my list was schedule root canal, because I need that too. So I've needed it since November. Schedule root canal, schedule mammogram. And I did them both back to back in the same power hour. I was like, done. Everything else has to wait. And I have an enormous list of things that are time sensitive that must be done now, especially with my day job, my Bird Inc. day job with getting ready for this tour. Oh my God, I have so much to do. But I was like, you know what? I'm just going to stop. And then with the mammogram, they were like, well, we're booking like in March, but I had a cancellation for Friday. And I was like, do it. I don't really have time to go today.
Yeah.
But I was like, if I wait till March, I guarantee you something will come up and I'll move it to May.
Yeah. And the thing
then I'll
is,
move
with
it
the
to
time
June.
sensitive stuff,
Yeah.
you're
I
overwhelmed
won't.
with Burt Inc. But the thing is, it's time sensitive, so it is going to get done.
It will. Exactly
It's
right.
going to get done.
That's exactly right. Because I don't have a choice.
Yeah.
So then I put the mammogram smack in the middle of this busy period because of that.
Yes, you're
I was
killing
like,
it.
I'm just going to do it. I'm just doing it. The root canal I couldn't get until like the day before I go on tour with Bert for a week, which is awesome.
Oh, wow. That's great.
But I was like, whatever. I need it.
Yeah.
It's been bothering me since November.
But
so
you could also call them and say, could I be on a cancellation list?
I am on
Yeah.
the cancellation list.
'Cause, yeah.
Yeah, but his first available was then, and I'm
Yeah.
on the list. And I was
Great.
like, just let me know, and
That's
I'll
as good as that's
make
great.
it happen. But why? What's behind it? Is it really just that you're too busy?
No, I don't think it's all that
Big of a deal?
important. Yeah. I'm
It's
like, I'll
because
get there eventually.
she's not
If it
putting
were on the
herself
calendar, I
first.
wouldn't change it. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like if it were there, I would just go. But I'm
But
like, whatever.
No,
it's
here's
fine.
the
I'll
thing.
Get there
It's
eventually.
because you are a
Like,
good mom. You're a great
not-
mom, and you are a great mom. But
And you're a great mom.
no, I wasn't fishing. But
I know that.
the point is that like you're a great mom, so you put your kids first. And that's what a great mom does. You do put your kids first. But it is coming, I think you're not alone. Like we all do it to a certain extent. I'm sure so many people who are listening to this or watching this will relate 100% and go, yeah, it's just, the focus is on the kids or your husband or your household or, all the things to keep the family going.
Your job.
And it's easy to put it aside. And especially since you haven't necessarily had any
right.
symptoms.
Right.
So it's
not
like,
I don't want to say it's not important. I know it is, but it doesn't feel like it. And it's
Well,
not
here's-
something I'm like excited to do. So
Sorry, I feel
You know.
like we're ganging up on you a little
A
bit.
little
but,
bit.
but I'll say I have 2 points to make. Then maybe we'll move on. Maybe I think you get the point because we've had this conversation a million times on this
True,
podcast.
I know.
I think it's really good to have a benchmark for when you're healthy. So when you become unhealthy, they go, "Oh, this is what she looks like healthy."
yes.
The other thing is, I've now had 2 guests, Tanya and Kim, who had cancer out of nowhere, no family history, no symptoms, no clue. Had walked into an appointment going, "I'm not feeling good," and walked out having fucking full-blown cancer. 2 people. That's why I go get my physical, because I'm scared of that. This happened to my aunt when she had ovarian cancer. She had no symptoms until she was way into her cancer. Not saying that you have cancer, but saying that if there's something going on, early detection is always the key to fast recovery, I think. So for me to take
Yes.
care of my kids, I have to take care of my health.
Yes.
Because could you imagine if I died and Bert was in charge? It would be a disaster. My kids would be disasters. I thought that's why I never got physical. I got my OB visit, but I never got like legit physicals until I had kids because of that. Because I thought if I die of something that it could have been prevented because I just didn't make an appointment, I would never forgive myself because Bert would fucking destroy my children. Now, you don't really have that issue with Steven, but I really did think that. I was like, I cannot imagine Bert as a single dad. Someone else entirely would be raising my kids. I better go to the doctor. I better get my blood work. And I have a history of colon cancer in my family, but it's not until they're later in life in their like 70s and 80s. But I felt that's something my doctor should know, because I'm sure if you have something like that, I mean, I have like 4 people in my grandmother's family in her age group that had it. So all of my dad and his siblings all have regular colonoscopies from a very early age, earlier than normal, because it's in our family.
I've had one already.
Have you?
Yeah,
Really?
because my mom had colon cancer at a relatively young age, in her 50s, I think.
Oh, that is young.
50s or 60.
That is young. No, mine were all in their like 75 plus, but still it's there consistently with several people. So I have to get mine this year, first one. But I don't know. I look at my doctor as a little bit of a teammate, so I go, my intention is to stay really healthy. So she helps me do that. And she's really good at reading my blood panels and telling me what's going on. And I don't know. That's my perspective.
Yeah. And Cathy, if I may dial it back from cancer, I was running with a sore knee and running marathons and half marathons and all distances in between for years. And it was just like, oh, buck up. I can handle some pain or whatever. But really, it was the wrong. I always feel like, oh, I'm so strong. I'm so tough. I can handle pain. Yeah. But it was not a good plan, because what happened was that, yes, I had a torn meniscus, it turned out, when I finally got it addressed years later. But I also had arthritis, and the torn meniscus was rubbing against the arthritis and exacerbating the arthritis. So now I finally had the knee surgery, and the torn meniscus is fixed, but the arthritis is bad. Right. And that is something that I caused by not addressing it in a timely manner, because I was like, oh, buck up. You can handle this. This it's not cancer. It's not, it's just your knee. You're fine. You can handle a little pain. Marathons are supposed to hurt. All this kind of talk that was not helpful in the end.
Right.
At all.
Well, I think we grew up with parents who never went to the doctor if like a limb was severed. My dad would only go to the doctor. I mean, he just split his head open and super glued it back together. I mean, it's a huge, like semicircular, probably almost as big around as a soda can, right? As the bottom of a soda can. Someone dropped a camper on his head, a camper, like a slide-in camper on his head, and like sliced it open, and he just kind of washed it and then super glued it and then called it a fucking day. So I'm for people who don't go to the doctor. I mean, and what's really bad, good, I guess, but really bad is he came here a week later and it was almost totally healed. It worked.
It looked really good.
It looked really good, right? He had one little bitty spot that was scabby. And I mean, the picture, it looked like it like almost scalped him. It was crazy. It was crazy. So
that's so funny. I just had a conversation with my mom. She has a physical in like May. My niece is graduating college, and she's like, well, what if I can't go? I'm like, what if the physical like is the Monday after? I'm like, change the physical.
Right.
And she's like, wait, it's my physical. I can't. Like, she is beside herself 6 months in advance.
This is why you don't go to the doctor. This is 100% why. We've established it.
I was like, I can't even have this conversation with you. Your first granddaughter is about to graduate college, and you might miss it because you have a physical.
Oh my God, Cathy, that's why. That is 100% why you don't want to be your mom.
It's the anti-Connie. It's the anti-Connie.
Oh my God.
It's the opposite. That's for damn sure. But yeah,
isn't
that weird?
Wow.
I get it.
I think it is not maybe
moving
completely a coincidence, but moving on, sort of. So I don't think it's a coincidence. And
Let's move on.
I'm moving on in saying that. Okay. Here's what I decided for my new year, right? You probably know all of the story, Cathy, so sorry, I'm repeating it.
Mm-hmm.
But I started working with a physical trainer 3 days a week, right?
Awesome.
And I'd been asking, it's Sandy's physical trainer, and Sandy's trainer doesn't take new clients ever, but he had said to her, you need a partner. You're getting lazy, so you need a partner. Imagine Sandy phoning something in. Right? I know, she was telling me how she cheats yesterday. She was telling me how she cheats behind his back and then how she doesn't get caught cheating. Because when you cheat, he yells at you big time. But I'm not a cheater. I don't do that. So, but she was like, this is what I do. He tells me to run the mile. And when he's not looking, I go down 3 notches. And then all of a sudden, before he turns around, I go up 3 more notches. So he knows
my
he
God.
thinks I'm running at a certain pace.
What's the point, though? If
Well,
you're
she said,
Exactly. Why are you going then?
exactly. She said, I understand that I'm only cheating myself, but it's just too hard. It's too hard for me. And I don't want to be that hard. I was like, okay. But when I started, I've been asking to start with this trainer since the summer because I don't know. It's one thing. I used to work out with a trainer in my 20s, but I didn't really need to work out with a trainer in my 20s. I weighed like 110 pounds. I just, I did it to hang out with the girls I was working out with the trainer. So, but Bert for like 2 years has been saying, I think you need a trainer because your body changes so much in this, or mine has.
Yes.
Maybe not everybody's,
Yeah.
but mine is completely different than even my early 40s. It's not responding to exercise or diet like it used to, right? And I've been stubbornly going, no, I have 2 eggs and a piece of toast, and that's my breakfast, period. And not just refusing to make changes I knew I needed to make, right? So I felt like I need somebody maybe that holds me accountable in a different way than just our friends or I do myself. And it's exhausting to hold yourself accountable all the time, right? Every once in a while you want to go, I don't want to hold myself accountable. I actually want someone who says no and yes, and that's what you do. So when she said he would take me on as her partner, I just started thinking to myself, okay, this is really good because my mind and my spirit are in pretty good shape. I take care of them very regularly by going to therapy, by having this podcast, by keeping my Bible, by even posting my quotes, and having people come back to me and go, this is an amazing quote. That's very fulfilling for me. That's something that has helped me help somebody else. So, but I haven't really focused on my body. So mind, body, spirit, right? So I'm going to approach this workout as the third piece of this pie and not just as I want to get skinny or whatever, which is not why I was approaching it anyway. I knew I had weight I needed to lose, even though my doctor said I don't, which is really confusing. You go to the doctor and I go, hey, lady, I got like 15 pounds of fat on the back part of my body. Maybe I should turn around and you look at me from the back and go, oh, yeah, maybe. But the chart they use for my height and age, I'm the exact right weight. And my percentage body fat is like at the top of normal. But I don't look good, right? I look heavy. I look heavy from the back. I do.
In your mind.
In your mind.
No,
You
do.
don't look heavy, but you're not
Right.
you're not
you're not
happy with
satisfied.
where you are
I'm
compared
not
to where
happy.
you've been.
Yeah.
And if you grabbed my back fat, you would go, oh, you have the equivalent of 2 loaves of bread of fat wrapped around your back.
Because people do that frequently.
Grab somebody's
Who
back
does
fat. That is a very offensive thing.
Well, when we're taking pictures as a group, I'm always like, somebody's going to grab my back fat. It's going to
I'm
happen.
totally going to do it today.
Ah, Jesus. So, in thinking that way, I started thinking, I believe in that Louise Hay book that says, illness comes up in your body based on something emotional that's happening, right? So if I hold, almost all of my fat is on the back of my body. It's not on the front. Like I'm not fat in the front. I'm fat in the back. So I thought to myself, in theory, I put that fat there to protect myself from my past, right? Emotionally. So there's part of my past I'm either holding on to or I haven't processed through that's like trauma-based that keeps me protecting myself from my past. So I'm going to approach this workout as I'd like to release whatever that is that's having me hold fat on my back. Because it's the back of my arms. It's not the front. Front's super lean. Back's fat. It's back like my bra area all the way down to my waist is where I carry weight. So, of course, somebody's listening going, no, that's just your genetics. Okay, I believe that too. My grandmother was shaped like a complete apple. So, yes, I understand that. But
Well,
I also
two truths
believe,
can be.
I think
Yeah.
so too.
Yeah,
I think there's
two
a
truths can
metaphysical piece
exist.
to it.
Mhm.
There's the piece where I'm eating toast every day. and that's science. And then there's the metaphysical piece where I go, well, this is where I'm creating my quote illness, even though I'm not ill, holding on excess weight. And I don't mean like I need to be like Cathy with 0% body fat, just that it needs to be at an appropriate place for me. And I don't think it's at an appropriate place. So I started working out with this guy, and I've been crying a lot in my workouts because I approached it from this place of mind, body, spirit, not just let's get a sweat on and burn some fat, right?
And maybe cheat in the process.
And maybe cheat. I don't cheat. I told him that the first day. I don't pay somebody to half-ass something. I have an integral problem with that. So if I'm coming to you, I want to do it all. And if I'm not going to quit or give up, I don't do it like that. It's been really hard. But I've lost 4 pounds.
Nice.
Which is good. I'm super proud of that.
That's awesome.
I started with him right after Christmas. So what's that been? Almost a month?
Almost
3 weeks.
3 weeks.
So I've lost 4 pounds in a month. That's pretty
cool.
good.
Yeah, that
so
is
I'm
pretty
happy
good.
with it.
Wow.
So anyway, I thought I'd share that. I was very proud of that. I was proud that I came up with that plan for myself, because I don't think you're ever finished, especially when you have some kind of trauma-based background. You're just never finished. So as soon as you get something opened up, something else kind of emerges. And I think, I talked about this on a previous podcast. My grandmother was shown my podcast by my mother, allegedly. I don't know this as a fact, but I was kind of led to believe that. And now my grandmother has removed all evidence of my family from her house because I have gone against my mother, not listening to what I was saying, and that perhaps what my mother did was bad, but that I'm bad for talking about my mom. So I think that one piece made me go, I think I can step out of the past entirely. I think I can stop eating toast for breakfast and be okay with that, because I think I can leave it behind. So I think that one thing was a real gift, for me to go, you're holding on to something, but why? Why? There's no reason to hold on to the hope that I have a clean relationship with anybody in her and my mom's family, because it's not possible. So maybe I'll just walk on, burn the fat off my back, do a I'm 50 swimsuit calendar and call it a day. I don't know. Anyway.
I like it.
You like it?
Yeah, I like it a lot. I did these meditations that I do. My teacher, Jessica Snow, it's Jessica Snow Meditation, jessicasnow.com. Well, anyway,
Something
like that. She has a whole bunch of meditations, but she did this thing in January. She has these free meditations, a 10-day process. And one of the days was called leaving. And these are just really short, 10-minute meditations. And the leaving meditation was supposed to be done while you were going for a walk. And I guess, or before you go on a walk, you're listening the beginning. These are all guided. So she walks you through everything. And you're supposed to think of something that you want to leave in the past.
Oh.
And then you literally go for a walk and you walk
right.
away from it. And she walks you through this. And it was so powerful. And it's very similar to what you're saying about that.
That's very powerful. That's really cool. And so do you listen to the meditation while you're walking?
Yeah. I just put in my headphones and my AirPods and went for a walk. And it was really good. And I want to repeat that one.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Did you go home and make a list? These are the things I'd like to leave behind.
I didn't make a list, but it was just the first thing that popped into my head and was okay. But I thought, this could be done 100 times. Yeah.
Once a week.
Yeah.
Just a flush.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's really cool. That's really cool. Do you ever think about stuff like that, Cathy?
Sometimes. I mean, I don't meditate, but that's very cool. I would try that, but meditation hasn't really. Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah, I would love the link. I could put it on my website too.
Because when I got into, I really was intrigued by meditation, but I'm like, I can't sit there. I can't sit here and do something. Our minds are racing and whatever. But Jessica helped me to realize that, for one, everybody's minds are racing. We all think that it's just us.
No.
That it's no, my mind is a little crazier, busier. You guys, this person seems like she'd
Right.
be able to meditate. But everybody is like that, including the meditation teacher.
Right.
She's like, I'm making a laundry list too. Like,
Right.
and then I have to stop myself. The whole point of it, it's
Yeah.
practice. Like
Mhm.
all things are a practice in and it's not about going, oh, damn you for making a laundry list. It's like, oh, I'm not present right now.
Right.
It's just to remind you so that when you're fighting with your kids, if before things get too heated, you can go, oh, I'm getting caught up in the anger right now
Mhm.
or whatever. Like I like that she walks you through it all because she's got a great voice, but she's also talking about things that like, okay, this is what I need to do next. Instead of me having a conversation with myself, it's following that. And yeah.
Well, you need a teacher initially, right?
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
yeah.
Well, teachers are really important, I think, in life. I've had so many teachers in life. And when I have a period of time where I don't have a teacher, like because you're not learning anything, I don't feel like I have a lot of growth. A teacher could be anything. It could be
Like your trainer.
Well,
Like
a
my
trainer.
physical
Yeah,
trainer.
exactly.
could be a trainer. I mean, my therapist has always been a teacher, but Scott was a teacher. My growth stunts if I don't have a teacher. And I wonder why, because I'm a pretty resourceful, self-motivated person, but I don't know, that teacher gives me that extra kick in the butt. Do you have any spiritual stuff that you do, Cathy? Besides cook for high holidays?
That's not super spiritual.
Well, sort of. You're celebrating something religious, maybe.
I guess,
Well, I don't know.
technically.
Technically.
Do I have anything spiritual? Not really. Not that I can think of off the top of my head. Like I think there's nothing that happens on a regular basis.
Right.
Like things come and go or whatever, or like, yeah, I don't know. I don't know how to answer that.
You look really pretty today, by the way.
You do.
Oh,
Yeah,
you
that's
do.
a very pretty
Thanks.
color blue. It really
Oh,
makes your
thanks.
eyes pop.
It is.
This is my my scarf stealing scarf.
Yes.
I'm very happy.
Oh,
It's
nice.
so
That I
did
bought.
well.
I
Yeah,
bought. I
right?
bought and brought it to the party. And
Yeah,
when they
that's
pulled it
right.
out, Cathy went, "Oh,
I
that's
want that
scarf."
one.
I was like, "Yes, somebody likes."
That's true. I forgot you bought
Yeah,
this.
I
Yeah,
did.
yeah,
I
yeah.
bought
Well,
this
thank
scarf.
you very much.
Sure.
I
And
loved
nobody
it.
could steal that from you because it matches your eyes perfectly.
Exactly.
You
Nobody
know what?
would.
The funny thing is, there were two of these at the
Yes,
party.
there were.
There was someone else who had one too. So I was going to steal from someone.
She was going home with it,
I was
one way or
definitely
the
going
other.
home with it.
That party is so fun. That's really fun. So no
Yeah.
spiritual stuff on a regular basis.
Not on a regular basis, I don't think. Like,
No, I don't really either. I don't have a practice like meditation.
I mean, I do. I mean, I guess I don't know how spiritual it is, but I know that I'm not nearly as grounded when I don't, like when I'm not outside walking
uh-huh.
or like when I'm not outside.
Uh-huh.
Like
Yeah.
I need to be, whether it's the ocean or hiking or whatever,
Mhm.
like I definitely need that in my life for
Right.
whatever.
Nature.
Yeah, nature.
So-
Being in nature, I think, is a spiritual
Yeah.
practice.
Absolutely.
Like it just clears your head, and that's where a lot of thinking happens and whatever. I don't know how spiritual that is necessarily. Sometimes it feels like it is, sometimes not at all. But
It's definitely self-care.
definitely 100%. Yeah.
Definitely self-care.
I think that sitting on the couch in the morning before anybody else is awake with the dogs and ideally the cat as well is like my spiritual time.
Is
That
it?
I just feel like, oh, this is life. Life is good.
Yeah.
That's cool. I don't feel like I have enough of that.
Yeah. I feel like it comes in bits and pieces where like all of a sudden you're like, oh, this is where I feel good,
Mm-hmm.
you know?
Yep.
But
I
it's not necessarily something I like go practice.
Right. And you don't every day get up and do what, like sit on the couch
Right.
before everybody's awake,
Right. No.
which sounds amazing. Do you
I
do
know,
that every
right?
day?
No, in a perfect world, I do. Like when life is running really smoothly and I got up exactly on time and I had
Yeah.
set up the lunches the night before and,
Yeah.
I just need to. But
So 2 days a year.
yeah. I
Is that
did
what you're
this
saying?
morning, and actually I saw the sun rise just from out
Oh,
my
that's
window. It was
nice.
really pretty. It was
Yeah.
really like red and pink.
It was pretty
yeah.
this morning. I was up there too,
Mm-hmm.
not involuntarily, getting people ready for school. I was not happy, but I'm not a morning person. I'm a night person, for sure. So I feel like every day I am drowning in stuff to do. Do you guys feel that way too?
100%. 100%.
Yeah.
I feel like it's not even that I have so much to do. I feel like stuff just keeps getting thrown at me.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I feel like I'm in the middle, I'm in my groove, I'm doing whatever. And then all of a sudden it's like, hey, I need this to happen. Or, hey, this has to happen. Or like all of a sudden I turn around and nobody has cleaned anything in the house. And
Mhm.
it's like a disaster. And now it all falls on me.
Mm-hmm.
Or like whatever. I just feel like every time I turn around, there's something else that like I now am supposed to do.
Mm-hmm.
Doesn't start out that way, but yes.
Is that how you feel?
Yeah, kind of. I was talking to Richard yesterday. He's been working from home this week. The show that he was working on, their office is closed, but everybody still had another week of wrap. So he's been working from home, and I just made some offhand comment about how, I've got nothing accomplished this week. And he was like, excuse me. And he seemed like personally offended by it. And I was like, what? I didn't say anything about you. Why are you so upset about this? And he said, it's not about whether it's about me, but he's like, look at all that you accomplished this week. He said, why do you come at it from the perspective of all you haven't accomplished? He said, I've seen you do a ton this week. So, why? And it's something to meditate on.
Do you think she has a meditation for my to-do list is never done?
I think so. I think
Or negative
she
thinking.
might. Or negative thinking. Yeah.
But is it negative? I guess it is negative thinking because I guess you're looking at what's left on your to-do list.
It's looking
instead
glass half empty instead of glass half full. And it's true. When he said that, it did flip a switch and went, oh yeah, I did all these things. And because he was working from home, we were able to go on 2 hikes together, which is amazing. I haven't been on 2 hikes in a week since the last time we went camping with the Girl Scouts,
right?
So it did flip a switch and make me go, oh, that's right. I did A, B, C, D, E, F, G. I just didn't do H, I, J, K, L,
Yeah. The problem I have in my house is that I feel like I do a long list of things in so many different arenas. And by the end of the day, my brain is like, I've thought about the new house we've bought, our kids' schedule, softball, piano, tennis. I've done laundry. I've done the dishes. I've ordered T-shirts for the tour. I've had a conference call about something else going on for Bert. I've planned a podcast. Like, there's so many different things that happen in the course of one day that by the end of the day, I feel really exhausted, and I feel really bad to feel exhausted because Bert Kreischer works harder than anybody I've ever known. And when he comes home at the end of the day, for me to be like, oh my God, I'm so tired, I feel really bad. So I try not to say anything about it. But like last night, he's telling me about his day, and I'm literally nodding off in the middle of the I'm literally going, what was that? What? Okay. Yeah. I heard the last 2 sentences, but not the one after that. So will you say that one more time? And finally, I was like, I got to go to bed. It's 9:30.
But Leanne, I feel like you're doing what I was doing because yes, Bert is an incredibly hard worker. He works like crazy amount, but so do you. Like,
yes,
so do you.
But I also
it's
feel
just
like
that I feel like you're not really putting some of the work things. Like, yes, he does all this work on his career, and you're doing all these things both for his career, but also for your children and your household and your podcast. And you just have.
I think that's the part that's harder is that it's pulled in more directions.
Right.
Like, I feel like for me anyways, like whenever I'm in the groove of something and then I get pulled away, like that's far more exhausting
It is.
than just having the long laundry list of things to do.
It's
the like unfocused, like, oh, go do this now, go do that, go pick up this, go whatever. Like that is harder. And I feel like that is probably more of your day.
Totally.
It is more of my day. That's exactly right.
Exhausting.
Yesterday, I was like, okay, my goal for the day is we're shipping all the tour bus contents. Like with the tour bus, they don't provide plates or Bert likes a certain comforter or any toiletries. They don't provide towels. They'll provide linens for the bed. But that's pretty much it. So we have to provide everything else. And I've been, carrying it out to the bus. And I was like, why am I doing that? I should just ship it to my dad, who lives 2 hours from the bus, and he's taking the smoker there anyway. So I'll pull everything out, box it, and ship it, because they're in like plastic tubs, box it and ship it to my dad. It took me 2 full days to pack 4 boxes, and not because it was hard to pack. All I had to do was take it out of one box into another box and tape it. It's because I kept getting pulled away from. I mean, it took me 1 whole day to pack 1 box.
But that's like mentally exhausting.
It's so
you know what I mean?
exhausting.
Because you're like, it's still on your
Yes.
list of things to do, and you keep going back to it, and then
Yes.
not like it's.
And
Yeah.
then my house, the entry of my house is boxes and shit everywhere, and a dog digging shit out of the box and dragging it. And I'm like, wait, there's a tripod in the toilet? How'd that happen? Izzy! It was 2 days it took me to do those boxes. And I was like, and my plan also was to have them boxed and at UPS store yesterday. Clearly that didn't happen. They're still in the entryway of my house. And then I was like, okay, then tomorrow. And I go, well, they don't open until our podcast starts. And now I have a podcast, now I have a mammogram. So, and I have to get it there. Okay. So I guess I'll, as soon as the podcast is over, take those boxes to UPS and be done. But
That stuff is the most
Yeah.
mentally exhausting
Yeah,
stuff for me,
that's
is
what I
when
mean.
you have your to-do list and you're like, okay, I've done all these things except for they're not complete.
right.
Yeah.
And so you can't check them off
That's right.
of your list. That
That's
is
what I mean.
exhausting.
It is
It's
exhausting.
So exhausting.
It is. To juxtapose it, I worked full time when I had kids. And so I'm sure people listening are like, you should have a full-time job and handle all that you're talking about. I did for a long time. And I could get it done more efficiently because I could take those boxes to my office, call UPS, and have them pick it up, right? Or I could have taken the boxes to my office, and on my lunch hour, it took me probably a total of 40 minutes to pack those boxes, but it took me 2 days because I don't have that focused attention. So I remember when I was working in the office that everything was compartmentalized. So when I was at the office, I worked. And then when I went home, I was at home and I did home stuff. But I don't have that luxury now. Everything is all blended. And I don't have an office. I don't even have a desk. Everybody dumps all their crap on my desk. It's like the dump spot. So I think that makes it harder for people listening who have a job, like a 9-to-5 type job. I definitely have a job, but it's not a 9-to-5 type job.
And it's not to diminish a 9-to-5
No.
job, because
No.
that is has completely different challenges.
Oh, totally.
But it's just freaking hard to
It's
get
really
it all
hard.
done.
Both of them are hard in different ways.
Yeah,
I think
right.
both, because I remember getting off work going, I seriously have to go to the grocery store. It's 5:00. I just want to go home. I just want to go home. And they'd have to go to the grocery store because I have nothing. This was before Instacart, where I could just go, boop, 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 meet you at home. But yeah, that was hard too. You're right. It has a whole different host of challenges. But I think sometimes that was easier. It was easier because I had this space where I couldn't be interrupted. Not really. I mean, I
Yeah, there were
could,
more
obviously.
boundaries. There were more boundaries
yeah.
because you can't be working on your own stuff when
Yeah.
you're
When
at a
you're-
job.
right.
Yeah.
The dryer doesn't buzz
Yeah.
while you're,
That you
I
don't
did
have the
laundry
puppy
on
there.
Tuesday. I folded it last night. It's just been sitting in hampers. I was like, I'm just going to wash, dry, and sit in a hamper. Wash, dry, sit in a hamper. And I was hoping Sylvia, my cleaning lady, would fold it for me, and she did not. So I folded it last night at 9:00. So, well, I just had a brain fart. What else should we talk about, ladies?
What about you obviously have a big New Year's goal, which is that you started with the trainer and the metaphysical stuff and the back.
Yeah.
Do you have anything New Year's-y?
You know what? That's funny. I was thinking about that. I haven't really made any New Year's resolutions yet. Although Stephen and I are going to lunch today to
nice.
sit down and discuss. I mean, one, to have lunch because I haven't had lunch with my husband in forever. But to sort of discuss like our life.
Oh, you're
Like
having a summit.
We are having a summit.
Yeah.
Yes. Like our financial, like there's a lot of stuff happening with this company right now and everything. Like what are we doing with our life? What is our plan?
That's exciting.
Great.
It is very exciting because we never get this. And every night he comes home and he's exhausted. And
Yeah.
on the weekends, like we're remodeling some piece of something in our house. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So like we just don't have time or
Yeah.
we're too tired.
Yeah.
So I'm excited to
Yeah.
have an adult conversation
Yeah.
that actually matters and whatnot. So
That's
I feel like
awesome.
today is sort of like, what is our plan? What does that mean for me? What does that mean for him, us, the Fromkins in general, like whatever. So yeah, I haven't really made anything yet. I did sit down actually and write out. We had a whole conversation about this baking thing. And sort of like, what are your goals for this year, 3 years, 5 years? Like, how do you see this going? So of course, I wrote it out like 2 weeks ago and we have not had a conversation about it, but
still, that's
baby
big.
steps. So
that is big.
Maybe.
And Bert and I do that. We call it the summit, where
Yeah.
we go, we need to have a summit. And it doesn't usually happen over lunch. It usually happens like when the kids are in bed and we're like, on this night, we're going to sit down and talk about everything. It's so helpful, I think, as a couple, because we make it a safe space to talk about anything. I don't like the way we're arguing.
Yeah.
Why do we have this shitty gardener? Just whatever, to get it all on the table, because a marriage is kind of like a partnership. I mean, a business partnership, as well as a romantic and a spiritual partnership. It's a business partnership.
Yeah, it's Kreischer Inc.
It is.
Yeah,
it
Roman
is.
Inc. Yeah.
It is. So that's really awesome.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah.
Let's see if he actually gets out of work.
He will.
He will.
That's why
It'll
you
be
dressed up, Kathy.
That's great.
Now I understand. You have a date with your husband.
No, they happen on the way over here.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, of course. He does this all the time. He calls me and I'm like, I'm about to walk into a podcast. And then he tells me this like giant, like earth shattering something that he's just like, I've just discovered that whatever has happened and I need therapy or whatever. Like, I don't know what it is. Right. And I'm like, gotta go. Bye. You know what I mean? Like, he always does that. And I'm like, I feel like such an ass because I can't talk to you right now. And it's clearly big and important for you. And
I don't know
I'll
what you're
see you
talking about.
later.
That never happens to me. Are you kidding? You have a life? Your life is supposed to be for me. Yeah, this happens to me a lot too.
Like, he just has the worst timing. I feel so
Yeah.
bad. Like, I'm
Aw.
terrible. I'm so upset. I'm like, cooking dinner. Bye. No. I don't know.
Love ya.
But yeah.
Bert FaceTimes
Anyway.
me at dinner time every
Oh.
day. Or I'm like, dude, I'm in the middle. I cook dinner every day, same time of day. Why you FaceTime me? What am I supposed to do? I can't read a recipe and watch you, or even if I don't need a recipe, just watch what I'm doing. I'll end up cutting my thumb off FaceTiming with you.
Yeah.
Well, I guess you just don't want to talk right now.
Ugh.
Yeah, I'm cooking dinner. I can't talk right now.
Yeah, we have children.
He
They
does
need
the
to
same
eat.
thing.
Yeah, right?
Like 4:00 is that witching hour. We're literally walking in the door. The kids are cranky and
Yeah.
hungry and whatever. They want snacks, whatever. He's like, hey, what's going on? Same fucking thing as every day. And this is a bad time to call.
Can you get
Yeah.
the memo, please?
No.
Right. Do you and Richard do anything like that? Like a summit?
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
do?
And actually, we're talking about so his job ends. Today's the last day of his working at home. And he works freelance. So the next show that he's on doesn't start for another month. And he's looking to day play, but he's technically off of work next week. So yeah, we have some plans to hike some more and talk some more.
That's
Yeah.
good.
Yeah, it's good.
That is good.
Yeah.
That's really cool. I love those
Mhm.
summits. We haven't had one in a long time.
They're so helpful.
They are. But the problem with the evolution of my role in Bert's career happened kind of slowly. And so I feel like I'm in so many business meetings with him that we don't even think about having a personal business meeting because we're in business meetings all the time. We've had 2 this week. We have one
Right.
next week, and I'm on every conference call.
Yes,
and
but
every-
Bert Inc.
Yeah.
is different than Kreischer Inc.
it is.
Right.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
but we're like, oh, we just had a meeting. Never
Yeah.
mind. I don't, what do we need to talk about? We already know everything that's going on, but we don't really.
Right. Yeah.
So we need to have one. We haven't had one in a while. We forgot our anniversary this year. We totally forgot it.
When is your anniversary?
December 27th.
Oh, well.
And then
Makes
on
sense.
December 1st, I was like, hey, wait a minute.
January
we missed
1st.
our January
You're
1st.
like, wait a minute.
We had an anniversary. Oops. Happy anniversary. Let's cook prime rib and eat at 10:30 at night because you have bad timing on when to put it in the oven. But so no New Year's resolutions, but maybe after this summit you'll have some, you think?
Probably. Yeah.
That's good. Have you guys always done New Year's resolutions?
I live for that shit.
You do?
I live
Oh,
for
that's
it.
funny.
You
And honestly, like I'm not a fan of New Year's. It freaks me out to be out somewhere and then driving home when there are drunk drivers.
Yeah.
There are drunk drivers every night.
Yeah.
It's just that,
A little
So-
more intense on New Year's.
Yeah, New Year's Eve, like the point of it is to drink, kind of. But the point of it for me is to write up my resolutions and goals and really get into a deep dive of that. And having kids has really cramped my style in terms of resolution making and that, because, they need to eat. And so me starting January 1st by going on a blissful hike and, addressing all these things on my list is never going to really happen. But I did things completely differently this year. Last year, I did like a 19 for 2019. But then in addition, I also did a 19 for 2019 for my sewing.
For your sewing?
19 resolutions?
Yeah.
Holy
And-
shit, really?
Yeah.
That's a
And
lot.
How do you keep up with that
I
many?
know.
well, no, so here's the thing. I looked over, I did an analysis of what I accomplished last year and what I didn't. So I believe item number 1 on my 19 for 2019 was to write a novel. Did I do that? No, I did not. However, I think I did just about everything else on that list. And the sewing stuff, I made like 58 items of
Jeez.
clothing. And I also have not bought clothing for myself in 2 years. So
Wow.
that when I make something like that's, anyway,
But
Crazy.
perhaps the sewing is prohibiting the novel.
oh, well, that's exactly
Yeah.
the realization that I had. So when I was good at making my 20 for 2020, I had a total realization that I was like, you know what? I am going to do these things. I like to sew. I like to read. When I make goals for these things, it's ridiculous because I'm going to do it anyway.
It's like
I
eat more
to-
dessert.
I like to
Okay.
So it's like just adding stuff to your to-do list that like doesn't really need to be on there because it's happening anyway.
It's going to happen anyway.
Yeah.
It's like I
Got
don't
it.
need to
That's
to
why you had 20.
challenge myself to do more of it because I'm going to do as much of it as I can.
Yeah.
And same
Got
thing
it.
with like doing fun things with the kids or spending family time. Like we're all about family time. Like
Yeah.
we do that way more than it doesn't need to be on the to-do list.
Right.
And so I made one goal for this year,
Wow,
and that is
nice.
to write the novel.
Nice.
That is the only thing. And to that end, I have written. So my goal for January was to just get into the practice of writing every day. So I have written every day this month so far. It's only, what is it, the 17th?
Yeah.
It's still 17 days
days.
from
That's
zero.
great.
That's awesome.
I've done that every single day. And so sometimes it's like opening, it's not like I'm not writing my novel right now.
Mhm.
I've opened like a couple of different documents on the middle school has a fundraiser where I participated last year where I wrote a story about parenting. So it's a bunch of parents performing about parenting. So, if Bert was in it, he'd do stand up about parenting.
Right.
If, whatever, a songwriter sings a song about it. And I told a story about Vivian being in the NICU last year. So a couple of my days have been writing potential things for this year's fundraiser. And then some of them have been just, starting a story here, starting whatever. But this month I'm getting into the practice, and then I'm also going to outline. And then February 1st, it's all novel work.
Go time?
So, yeah.
Yay!
Good for
Yeah.
you. That's awesome.
So
That's exciting.
yeah, but it's the first year that I haven't made like multiple goals.
19?
And it's like, yeah.
19 is more than multiple.
I know, right?
19
How'd
is
you
a
come up with
truckload.
19?
That's a lot.
It's fun to think about them though. It's like because
it
it
is fun,
does
yeah.
like it's creative and it, just
I think I'm going to do that.
So
I've never
funny
made
that you're, like,
resolutions ever.
You're also super like once you write it down, then it's going to get done.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
Bert's
You're
that way
very-
too.
Yeah.
When he writes a goal down, it happens. And you wouldn't think so from him. I mean, the guy can't even put his underwear in the drawer. But if he does it every year on his birthday. He takes himself to lunch and he writes his goals for the year and he accomplishes them. Every single one. I mean, he was on the tour bus, now the second tour on a tour bus. And I said, remember when you wrote that on your goals? Now, it wasn't a year, he didn't write it and it happened within that calendar year, but it always happens at some point.
because
So-
he's taking
right.
steps towards that. So
Yes.
yeah.
Right.
And I think metaphysically that you manifest it when you write it in that way in a manifesto, right? You're like, this is what I want. This is where I'm going. Now, I don't do that for myself. So maybe I should make some resolutions with my pretty notebook that Kirsten gave me for my
Right.
birthday.
And then we'll go out to our lunch to discuss your writing goals.
Yes. Well, I think the
Or
first
not.
goal I have is I want to publish my Bible, but Bert doesn't want me to publish it like publicly. He's like, I think you shouldn't do that. But I want to make them for our kids for when they graduate high school.
Mm.
So I can give your kids and, all the kids that mean something to me that and say, this is what I have compiled from age 26 to now. Maybe it'll help you sometimes
That's
if you're
awesome.
feeling lonely or if you're feeling lost or there's something in here that will help you. So I want to do that for that reason.
That is a great goal.
And
like
I know
that.
that's a big expense and a lot of work to not have, I would publish it and just sell it for anybody who wanted that information because I think it should be shared. But for whatever reason, Bert's like, I don't think you should do that. I think you should not do that. So, all right. But I really do want to do that.
I mean, if
So
you
I'd
take
pick
the
that
first
goal.
step, you could always take the second one later if you so chose to.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, or change
True,
it
but-
to,
or
to
change
have
it,
a
yeah.
public and a private version.
That's true. That's
Right.
true. So maybe that'll be on my list because I've been saying that for 2 years.
You have, yeah.
That
Well,
I
you've got
wanna
2
get it
years
published.
left.
And yeah, and you're
I do.
getting
Or you've got
close
a
for
year and a half.
Georgia.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fuck.
2.5 years.
Yeah.
She got junior, senior, and half her sophomore.
Oh yeah. Oh,
So I
thank
got
God.
2.5 years. I know. Thank God.
Holy
Thank
shit,
God.
I just had a panic attack right there.
But there's so many girls that I was like, I would give it to all of our girls in the Girl Scout troop. I would give it to, all of my girls' closest friends, and then all the kids that I feel close to or appreciate or love.
Right.
That is a lovely, lovely idea. I
Oh,
love
thank
it.
you. I'll put that on my list. I think I'll do that maybe today when I'm sitting in a hospital gown, freezing my ass off. I'll take a notebook and write my New Year's resolutions. I've never been a resolution. I've never been a
Yeah.
goal setter like that. I'm just a taskmaster. I'm a list maker.
Yeah, but
But-
in a way, your lists end up as
They're all short term.
Yeah.
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 They're all short term. They're all sprinter, as Halston just said. They're just like, how do I get this shit done?
Right.
Yes, you're a marathon
That's
runner.
true.
Clearly,
I am
yeah.
a sprinter. I am a sprinter, which is not always good.
We used to always go, and I don't know why we stopped doing this. I'm not sure what happened, but every New Year's Day, we used to go as a family to the beach. Like that's where I find the most spiritual connection or whatever. And nobody's ever at the friggin' beach January 1st because it's fucking cold.
Yeah.
But it's so awesome.
Yeah.
And I'm bummed that we didn't go this year.
Was
I
this
mean,
the first year you didn't go?
No, it was
Mhm.
not the first year, but this is the first year I was really bummed about it. Like we used to go really consistently, especially when the kids were little because it was easy. But this year I felt like I needed or wanted to go and we didn't. And, maybe it's just because I haven't been in a while, but I feel like that's sort of when that stuff presents itself.
Mhm.
Like that's when I think about it and whatnot, because I'm not super great about writing them down or thinking long term.
Right.
And they're always like, I kind of feel like they're stupid goals. Like, oh, I'm going to eat better or I'm going to read more books or whatever. And you're like, whatever. Like that's either going to happen or it's not going to happen.
Right.
You know
Yeah.
what I mean? It's
Yeah.
not like a real goal, so to
Right.
speak. So,
It's a minor goal, maybe.
right. It's one of those things that's like in the back of your head that you should do that,
Mhm. Yeah. Eat better.
Yeah.
Boy, I'm
exactly.
eating better. This guy, he's killing me. I can eat protein and greens. And I'm like, oh my God, protein and greens. I'm tired of greens and I'm tired of protein. How about a carb? There's no carbs. No carbs. It makes me
Oh.
sad.
Yes, yeah.
I can't no carbs forever. But, and he
Right.
says it's not no carbs forever. He said it's no carbs. He was like, he made me journal what I was eating. And I read my journal and said, you are not overeating, really. I mean, like when you go to a party, you're overeating, but like on your day to day, you're not overeating. So your body doesn't like something that you're eating. So let's figure out what it doesn't like. Does it not like dairy? Does it not like grain? Does it not like fruit? What does it not like? It's not processing something. So let's eliminate everything but protein and grains, and then we'll add something and see how it affects your digestion and your weight loss and just go from there. And we'll start adding and adding until we figure out what your body doesn't like. But the denial of everything in the meantime is not very pleasant. I don't like it. I don't like it at all.
Yeah, that sucks.
It does suck, but whatever. It's just food.
It's short term.
It's short term. And it's short term. Yeah. That's it. It's all for good. to be healthier person, I guess. Isn't that what we're all doing in every arena, trying to be a healthier person? I think so. Maybe.
I think that's the goal, right?
Speaking of a healthier person, I think we should plan a girls' trip. What do you think about that?
I'm in.
Are you in?
I was like, mentally, that's great.
Somewhere, is it somewhere we drive to, or do we go to somewhere like Cabo? What do you think?
I mean,
No
I'm all
comment?
about the beach.
You're all about the beach? You can't swim in Cabo, though.
I don't care. I don't need to.
The current. What's the current there? There's some current there that drags you out to sea. You can't swim in Cabo.
Don't know. But
I don't know either. We're in parts of Cabo anyway. I could use a girls' trip.
yeah,
Anyway,
that would be fun. That would be very fun.
it would be very fun.
Yeah.
It seems undoable, doesn't it? Just too many.
It does
moving-
feel like
Although you have a husband for the next month that's off, so you could go
I know,
sometime the
right?
next month.
Theoretically. Yes. Well, theoretically, but the problem is he might not be like,
Yeah.
it'll
Yeah,
change
you
on a
just
dime.
never know. Yeah.
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 Yeah. Makes it hard, doesn't it?
Yeah.
I'm on the cusp of having a kid old enough to leave alone, right? Georgia's almost there. She's almost 16, but I can't really leave them until she can drive. I
Right,
feel
that's the
like.
problem, right?
Mhm. Yeah.
Because even if they can stay home alone,
Yeah. I can't drive.
they can't. How do they get to school? Yeah.
Yeah, or how they get to the hospital. If somebody cuts
Yeah.
themselves and you don't need 911, but you definitely need stitches.
Right.
Well, how do you get to the hospital? That's the
Yeah.
thing I think of too. It's like when we went out for a big group outing last Saturday night and we were at the Forum. So I was like, it's just too long to leave them by themselves that far away with everybody in our circle with me. There's no one to call
right.
to say, hey, could you take me to the doctor? I mean, nobody that would be sober at that time of night on a Saturday night. There are people around here in the neighborhood, but I don't know that they would be sober. So we hired a sitter and I felt so stupid texting her. I was like, so I need a teen sitter, which is a little different than a babysitter. You guys can go play putt-putt golf. You can go, to the movie, do whatever you want. You don't have to stay
Right.
home. There's no bedtime, but
You don't really need supervision.
no, we just need a driver. We need a warm body that can drive. But they had a great time. They went out with their old babysitter from when they were really little.
Oh.
Yeah, they had a great time.
It's cute.
What else should we talk about, ladies? This is a free form like convo. I had no topic today. I hope it's not boring to everybody who's listening. But I don't think we're boring.
Well, it
hope
must
not.
be a boring
Oh.
one because that's my theory, right? I'm like on all the boring ones.
What?
You are not on all the
did you get
boring
that
ones.
theory?
Listen,
That
negative
means I am
Nelly.
too, by the way.
No, that's not true. Okay, so here's what Bert has planned. I think Kathy knows this. Bert has decided that the three of us, plus Sandy and Jeannie Turbo, need
Oh,
to go on a
God.
live podcast tour. On one of the weeks that the Birdie Boy tour bus is dark, he wants us all to get on the Birdie Boy tour bus and go to Philly, DC, and Atlanta to do 3 live podcasts. And he's already called his agent to book venues without asking me if this is anything I would be interested in or any of you could go.
Oh, God.
But he's determined because he thinks it would be the best girls' trip ever to have all of us on a bus and live podcast. I was like, what would we talk about in a live podcast? I don't even know what that would be. I have no idea. So he's talked about it publicly now. And I'm
Yeah.
getting all these emails saying, I would bring 4 friends. I would bring 8
That's
friends. I would bring so
hysterical.
many friends. Please come to Atlanta. Please come to DC.
Oh, my God. That's hilarious.
So would you do something like that? I know Kathy would. I could talk her
I
into
mean,
anything.
what? I totally would if I, depending on when it is. But yeah, I totally would.
And Sandy, we just get a fishing rod with a bottle of wine
I was
hanging
just
from
going
it.
to
and
say,
we, "Come on,
Sandy will
baby."
never show up for the actual
Yeah,
podcast.
just the
She'll be on
wine.
the bus.
Right, she'll be on the bus. And Jeannie would go. Yeah, he was like, the
Yeah.
5 of you should just go. And then you have like a panel and people are going to ask you questions. You just have a conversation.
Oh, my God.
And I was
That's
like,
so funny.
Isn't that funny?
That's hysterical.
It's very flattering that he thinks that people would actually come
Yeah,
out
I feel like
And
people
apparently
would
people
go
would.
to
That's-
see
that's
you.
great.
But
No, that's not true.
Yeah,
I
that's
don't do
the
this
point.
podcast by myself. It's not by myself.
No, but you're still the anchor. That's the whole point.
Well, I know it's my podcast.
Yeah.
But you don't think they'd come out to see my regulars?
No, they're
I
there
have
to
these
see
5
you.
regulars that rotate through this joint. You're my most regular.
The regular.
You're probably my second most regular.
I'm like Metamucil. I think you're regular.
You are my regular. Oh, is that Kathy's new nickname, Metamucil?
Awesome.
Oh.
But would you do something like that?
Yeah, I would totally do something like that.
It'd be fun, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
All right.
Minus the live podcast.
Minus the live podcast. Maybe that's what we do. We just girls trip on the bus with Ron.
Oh, God.
Ron, the bus driver. Ron, the bus driver, is the nicest guy. He is so sweet. He is so concerned with taking care of Bert. But he really enjoys being on that tour. He has a great time on the tour. And the bus driver we had before basically was like, okay, see you in 8 hours. Never saw or heard from him. And Ron really, I think, feels like he's almost part of the show.
Oh, that's awesome.
He's really cool. So we'd have Ron to take care of us. I don't know. It might be fun.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. I'm totally down for it if I can do it work-wise. If
Yeah,
it works with the work schedule, I would 100% do it.
It would be really fun.
Yeah.
I think it would be really fun. It would be hard to get all 5 of us to have our kids organized and taken care of and handled for,
It could happen.
the 3. He said, this is how much he planned it. We fly into Philly and do a Thursday night in Philly, a Friday night in DC, and a Saturday night in Atlanta, and come home Sunday. So you'd only be missing Thursday,
days.
Friday, Saturday, Sunday.
Oh, yeah. I
So
mean,
you'd be missing 2 days of school,
Right.
2 days of not school.
Weekend is not.
Like a 4-day.
oh, totally.
That actually sounds a little more reasonable.
Yeah.
does?
That's not what
Well,
I was
you thought it
hearing
was like-
in the
I know,
first
right.
place.
January
Like
to
a
March.
week.
I was hearing like a
No,
whole
you said
week.
a week.
No.
Yeah.
Well, a week in my brain is Thursday, Friday, Saturday,
Yeah.
Sunday. That's how his weeks work. Sorry. Tour lingo, whatever. I don't know. It'll be fun. Maybe we'll
my
think
God.
about it. And watch, we'll show up in Philly and there'll be 8 people. The 8 people
Totally.
who said, I'll bring 8 friends. Hey guys, why don't you come on stage with us? Let's just talk about whatever. It would be fun.
That's funny.
It'd be a fun girls' weekend on wheels.
Well, do you know what? If there were 8 people, that would be probably more than our one live podcast that we did, remember?
Yes.
I think there were
There were more than 8 people. Just not more than 8 people.
I think there were
knew us.
9.
12
Yeah, but
people.
nobody-
Like there were.
There are definitely more than
wasn't
8.
a lot more than 8.
More than 8, less than 10. Somewhere in that range. I was so excited about that too. I was so excited when we got there. I was like, oh, I used to rehearse in this theater. I know exactly where we are. Oh, this is tiny.
It was fun, though.
It was really fun. I had a good time. What did we talk about there?
We talked about our odd job, our
Oh,
weird
odd
job.
jobs.
Oh, that's
That's
right.
right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Odd jobs.
Forgot about that.
So this morning I was trying to brainstorm about a topic because I like to come in with at least some direction, and I was just falling flat. I've been having, for people listening, I've been having a really hard time booking guests for the podcast. I have topics and I have people, and everybody's schedule is not working. So I've been working so hard with no end result. And I got really frustrated. So I was like, I'm just going to push pause because this should not be frustrating. Clearly, everybody's too busy. And I work really hard to bank a bunch of episodes so this doesn't happen. But I was out of my bank. So just bad timing. And it's hard to ask somebody, hey, can you for free come and sit at my house for 2 hours and talk and get absolutely no benefit out of it except the conversation? That's a big ask. So I kept going, what can we talk about today? Maybe we'll just have a hang and we'll just see where it goes, which is kind of what we did. But the one thing I did say to Bert, I was like, I wonder if it would be interesting to have maybe as one of my episodes be a storytelling episode where I invite people to come and tell a story, any story you want, and see where that leads the conversation. Because storytelling is such a powerful art form, really.
Mm-hmm.
And everybody has a story. Everybody has a funny story, a tragic story, a happy story, sad story. And I thought that might be a fun episode to do every other month or once a month or whatever.
I like it.
I liked it too. I thought it was a really good idea because I have a ton of stories that I would love to tell, but there's no reason to tell them. You know what I mean?
Right. Doesn't necessarily fit into
Right.
a topic that.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly. So, in saying that, do you guys have any good stories you'd like to tell today?
Nothing like being put on the spot.
Yeah, I don't know if I could
I know, right?
drum one up right on the spot.
Okay, I have a story.
Okay.
I obviously, since I was thinking this, I was like, I could tell this story that is relative to nothing. This is one of Bert's favorite stories about my childhood. When I was in 7th and 8th grade, I lived across the street from a girl named Becky. I've talked about her before. She's my very best friend, just savior of a human being. Love her to this day. But I was really part of their family. They had 4 kids, and I was kind of the 5th unofficial Wood kid. Their last name was Wood. So Becky decided to have a big party for Halloween. And their dad had this conversion van. I'll never forget it. It was white on the outside with silver and burgundy stripes, and the inside was all burgundy. And it was one of those conversion vans where it was like burgundy carpet, velour burgundy chairs, and there were the 2 front seats, and then the 2 passenger seats were like captain's chairs that swiveled and had a table between the 2, and then the back was a bench that could lay down to a bed, right? So I loved this van, but it was Halloween, and we were probably in 8th grade, and Becky was like, let's go roll yards, like toilet paper people's yards. And they were one of the families, the only family I knew that went to that version of Costco during, in the early 80s. And they had like cases of toilet paper at their house. So Becky's dad, who I loved so much, was like totally into it. Let's do it. Let's get everybody in the van. There are probably 8 of us. Everybody in the van, who are we hitting first? Where are we going first? Right? So we get in the van.
He was the Bert of the neighborhood.
He was the Bert. He was. I just recently figured that out. He was loud. He was a man that marched to the beat of his own drum. Tony was, he was a visionary. He was in construction, and he bought all this land out in Swanee, which is at the time was completely undeveloped and really, really rural farm and woods. And it ended up being where the Falcons practice. And so he started developing all these high-end homes that the Falcon players bought. I mean, he's just a visionary, that guy. Loved his wife so much. He's passed away now. But so Tony was like, let's do it. Everybody in the van, grab the case of toilet paper. Who are we going first? I don't even remember who we hit first. We hit two houses first. And the 3rd house was down the street from Becky's house. So he dropped us off and he said, roll this yard and just run home. We were probably less than half a mile from home. So we get dropped off, and we got our toilet paper. The house is pitch black, so everybody's clearly asleep. So we're rolling the yard, and I'm like on the farthest point of the yard from Becky's house. And all of a sudden, someone starts shooting a gun. So the teenager in the house had driven home drunk, we didn't know this, and fallen asleep in his car in the garage while we were rolling the yard. Woke up and found this pack of girls rolling his yard and starts shooting. And of course, I think he's shooting at me, and everybody scatters, right? Everybody starts running toward Becky's house, but I am trapped between the gun and Becky's house. So I start running the opposite direction. It's pitch black. And if anybody's ever been in Georgia, it's pitch. You cannot see your hand in front of your face. Like you can put your hand in front of your eyes and you can't see it. So I'm running through the woods, running like this guy's fucking shooting at me. He gets in his car, backs out of the driveway and starts looking for us. He's driving up and down the road looking for us. And I'm running away from everybody. And through the woods, I hit a barbed wire fence, literally in pitch black. God. It totally clotheslines me. So now I'm bleeding because I hit this fence. I crawl under the fence. And then I cross the street, and I start, because Becky lived across the street from him down. So I'm like at least on the same side of the street as Becky's house. So I start running back, pitch black, hit the same barbed wire fence on the other side, under it, through that fence, running, hit a wooden fence. So I can't see anything. I'm like, goosh, on this wooden fence. Can't go under that one. It goes all the way to ground. So the guy's still going up and down the street. I am positive I'm going to get shot. So I go around the wooden fence. I start running through people's yards, like at their houses, trying to get back to Becky's. So it takes me forever to get to Becky's. I walk in her house covered in blood. I had barbed wire hit me in the chest, in the stomach, and in the calf, like in that area. So I had 2 barbed wire fence injuries. I still have scars on my chest and my stomach from that incident. So running. I walk in the door and I'm like crying. And Tony's at the dining room table with all the girls. And Becky goes, "What happened to you?" And I was like, "Oh, the guy was shooting and I was running and a barbed wire fence." And I just fall totally apart crying. And Becky goes, "We thought you were in the bathroom. We asked, where's Leanne? And everybody just thought you went to the bathroom. You were in the bathroom." Tony is laughing hysterically. I must have looked like death. So Tony starts laughing and he makes me sit in his lap because I'm so shaken up. I'm like, oh my gosh, I almost died. I remember Tony being like, laughing. He goes, "Becky, go get the Band-Aids. We got to clean this up." Because I was literally like,
Oh my God.
bleeding from this probably rusty barbed wire fence. So Bert thinks that's the funniest story of my childhood because I'm this poor little bitty Leanne running through the dark and just hit a fence. And then under the fence, they hit a fence and this guy's shooting in the air.
Oh my God.
So crazy story, right?
That's a crazy
That's
story.
funny.
Crazy story. He keeps saying I need to write it out, but I think it's so much funnier to tell it. I've tried to write it a bunch of times. It's too hard to write,
Yeah.
I don't know. So does that spark any stories in your mind?
I was not. No.
No, I was
never
listening
ran
to your
into a barbed
story.
wire
It wasn't.
fence. Right.
Well, I'd never
thinking
either,
of it.
except then. I'd fallen onto one time. Oh, this is really bad. So Becky had this bull named Humphrey. He was, quote, tame.
Wait a minute. She had a bull?
Yes. They had a pasture. They had cows. He dabbled in cattle. So he didn't. I mean, I grew up on a cattle farm. My pop raised cattle for meat.
Uh-huh.
So I'm very familiar with cows, right? But Becky's dad had a few cows. He had this Brahma bull named Humphrey. Brahmas have a big hump on their back. So Humphrey, we used to go in her barn and scratch his head, right? But if you didn't scratch hard enough, he would take his nose and just toss you against the wall, just throw you like it's not enough. You'd have to really scratch hard. So anyway, Humphrey was somewhat tame, but he's still a Brahma bull. So Becky and I decided, I don't know why we were doing this. We decided to get in the pasture with Humphrey and the rest of the cows, right? And Humphrey was not happy. So he started chasing us, right? So we start running for the fence. And she had a barbed wire fence. And
Oh my
then
God.
in certain fences, there's a section where there's like the fence post, and then there's a horizontal post and another vertical post. So it's like a big upside down U. So I was going for that. I was going to climb over that because it's really hard to climb over just straight barbed wire. So I get to the top of the wood and the wood breaks and the barbed wire goes in my butt. Like in my butt cheek, rips my panties. I'm totally stuck on the barbed wire fence, panties bleeding again. I'm like, "Becky, get me off the fence! I can't get off the fence! Humphrey's gonna get me!" Of course, Humphrey got close and then stopped and was like, I don't know if he was playing with us, so to speak, but he definitely wasn't really gonna maul me. Still scary to have this like,
Giant
1,500
creature.
pound
Yeah.
Brahma bull with big horns chasing me. So I'll never forget when that wood broke. I remember going, "Oh my God, like I'm falling on barbed wire. My vagina is going to go on barbed wire." It went slightly to the left of my vagina. It
Oh
just
my
ripped up from my
God.
butt cheek. Still have that scar also.
Oh
It's
my
about
God.
4 inches long. It just ripped me open in the butt. Good time
Wow.
for Becky. Yep. To go home.
Wow.
Her
Good
dad
times
did
with
not
barbed
medicate that
wire.
one. Her dad did not medicate that injury. I don't remember who medicated that one, but it was not Tony. Super glue, right? If I'd only known
This
about
is a
super
job
glue,
for super glue.
right?
Wow.
And remember, it ripped my favorite pair of Sergio Valentes too. They were dead.
I like that you have two outrageous
I know,
barbed
right?
wire stories. From your
Give me time.
childhood.
I can come up with
I
one or
have
two more.
none. I have nothing to add to that.
So I chose the wrong story to spark any storytelling in you.
Right.
No experience with Brahma bulls.
No barbed wire.
Nobody shooting at you.
I grew up in the suburbs.
That was a suburb in Georgia.
This is
That was not a suburb. That was the rural.
No, that was a suburb. That was outside of Atlanta.
That's what you'd like to think.
No, it was. It was Norcross, which now is very populated. At the time, it was very much
And now has
a
streetlights.
distant suburb. What's that?
And now has streetlights.
Oh yeah, now has streetlights for sure. Yes, that we were the first. I think one of the first subdivisions. My mom bought a house in a subdivision that was across the street from Becky. It was one of the first subdivisions. So it was just developing, but it was definitely, I mean, there was a mall, there was a mall, there were car dealerships. It was not like Bowden. That was entirely different. I would have been dead in Bowden. The person would have been able to shoot me. They would have hit me. That guy, I don't know what he was doing. He had a Trans Am. I'll never forget it. A black Trans Am.
Of course he did.
Yeah, right.
Right?
This is
T-tops.
from the 80s.
And I was like, oh, he's gonna kill me. Oh, well. Those are 2 stories, I guess. I forgot about the Brahma Bull until we talked about the barbed wire. I'll never forget that wood breaking. Have you ever done anything like that where you're on something and something breaks and you're like, oh, shit?
I was on a tree branch.
Under?
No, on.
Oh, on.
I was standing on it. Like we were climbing trees and I was standing on it and apparently couldn't hold me.
Uh-oh.
And I fell, it broke and it I still have the scar straight up my shin.
Ouch.
Yeah, that was painful. That was
Yeah.
bad.
And then did you hobble home bleeding? Could you imagine our kids living through
Oh my God. No.
that?
Yeah. No, that was like, yeah, I mean, I did go home and get cleaned up. Like there was no choice, but I don't know. There are a lot of times where there are injuries that just never got addressed.
Yeah, me too.
You know what I mean? You just kept going.
Totally.
Like we played in the woods all the time.
Oh,
So there was
yeah.
shit that happened. But
I know we were we were at our new house cleaning out some stuff, and Georgia got a splinter, shut down, totally shut down on a bench. Folks, Mom, you got any tweezers? I'm like, I don't really travel with tweezers. You think there's any tweezers anywhere in this house? No. Why? I have a splinter. I was like, okay, well, we're cleaning out the garage, so let's keep going. She'd do one thing and then sit back down and focus on the splinter. My dad was here helping us, and when she was out of earshot, she was in the house, and we parked the car. I said to Daddy, how many splinters would I get in my feet per Saturday? And he was like, oh, like 6 to 8. And I was like, and when would I take them out? He went, when it's dark. You would never stop. And I was like, and I'm raising this person who cannot carry a box from the garage to the garbage bin because she has a splinter. She can't. I mean, he was like, let's stop by Minchie's on the way home. She was like, I got a splinter. I got to go. Minchie's is her favorite frozen yogurt place that she had complained she had not been to yet with Papa J. And she literally said, I got to go home and get the splinter out. And I was like, hold on. You're going to go past Minchie's to go home to walk back to Minchie's for a splinter? And she was like, yeah, I need to get it out. It's driving me nuts. And I thought, Lord have mercy. Bert is right. In an apocalypse, they're never going to make it. Never. Do you feel that way about your kids?
oh yeah, they'd be dead.
Oh,
I feel like
Max might actually
the eldest
survive a little longer.
might not survive. And my little one, I would not count her out.
yeah.
Yeah, Vivian is full of surprises. She knows more life hacks than anyone. Like,
What kind of life hacks does she know?
Well, like, so when she, I'm not,
Vivian knows life hacks?
I'm not,
Listen, I've helped this girl pack. She clearly has progressed. In her-
she has progressed. She can pack by herself now. Like when we go on, when we travel to Canada, she does all her own packing and it's
great.
like done. She's learned that from Girl Scouts. But her go-to, like when she gets on the iPad for hours and we're like, oh my God, she must be stopped. She's on YouTube, like looking at life hacks for things. So it's like when we're cooking dinner, she'll be like, oh, we're baking. She's like, oh, you sure you want to use baking soda? I think that this one would also benefit from baking powder because, and we're like, what? She's like the kid from Jerry Maguire, who's like, did you know the human head weighs whatever?
8 pounds.
Yeah.
Yeah, but she comes up with this stuff all the time where she's like, I was looking at this recipe, but I was thinking that they're not always about recipes, but she is interested in cooking and baking. So she'll say, but what if you substituted this for this because the texture of it would really enhance this. But she does that about like, I don't know, just stuff around the house. It's Richard and I are always like, oh my God, where do you learn this stuff? And she's like, oh, YouTube. And that's just what she's interested in.
Right.
So I would not count her out in the apocalypse. I feel like she would have a few tips. She'd be like, well, you could fashion a bow and arrow from whatever. But yeah, Camille would just be like, I give up.
I give
done.
up. Is there a concierge for this apocalypse?
Yeah.
No. I don't know how my kids would be. I think they would probably figure it out. But our puppy does not pee in the rain. She's not a big fan of the rain. So we knew it was going to rain last night. So I said to the girls, I'm in the middle of cooking dinner. We got to take the cushions off the outdoor furniture and put the pop-up tent up for this dog to pee because I don't want her to pee in the house. So we put a pop-up tent and she'll do that. She'll go under the tent and pee. So
that's smart.
My dog is the same
Yeah,
thing.
our dogs are
She
the
will not go
same
out in
way.
the rain.
Oh,
She'll go outside under the back patio and pee on our rug.
yeah.
It's awesome.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Well, my dog is considerably larger than your dog.
Yes.
So I don't want her to
Little
be
bit.
on any rug. But yeah, I couldn't get her to go outside without a cover. So I'm in the kitchen listening to them just put a pop-up tent together. And it was disaster.
Okay. Do you remember the fair? Not many adults can put a pop-up
That's
tent
true.
together.
It's true.
Okay. I'm just saying.
It's true. You're right. But if stop yelling at me. I'm not yelling at you, but I am laughing at you. Stop laughing at me. I don't laugh at you. Yes, you do laugh at me. You laugh at me all the time. You're so mean. And I was like,
Oh my God.
I just want the tent up. That's all I want. Why? Why do we have to do this every time we do something together?
That is the worst part about parenting, I think, is when they're
Having a
fighting.
sibling.
The bickering.
Having two of them. That was your mistake.
I guess it was. It's when they're fighting. I'm always like, do you know how painful it is for me to have somebody degrading my favorite person and somebody degrading my, like that back and forth? It's like, there's nothing worse than somebody trashing somebody that you are so crazy about. I just can't stand it. Oh,
my answer is, do you know what I would have given to have had a sister? I would have given my left arm for a sibling, much less a sister. So can you have any appreciation that you have each other? They don't. I don't think. It's really interesting because they're so very specific people, right? They're not similar in any way. And I hope that when they're adults, they realize the value in that. I think the thing about me and Bert being very different is that I learn things from him where I go, oh, that's actually something I don't do well. I could maybe do that. Like I'm that way. And Bert, I don't know that Bert learns a lot from me, but I think he does. Not in the same way I learn from him. Like he'll watch some things that I do and go, oh, that's really smart. Or, oh, I never thought about it that way. But I hope they get to the place where they can do that for each other because I think they have opposite strengths and weaknesses, actually, because everybody has a strength and a weakness. And I think they're opposite, And as perfect as Georgia seems, she's not perfect. She's really not. And I think she could learn a lot from Isla, who I think can be easily viewed by the outside as the goofy kind of underachiever, but she's actually not. They're just very different. And I wish they could. I wish I could start learning from each other now. But all they do now is, stop looking at me! You looked at me twice!
Why do you always interrupt me when I'm talking?
No. Why are you in my room? You don't ever let me in your room. Like, well, maybe if you let each other in each other's room. Hello? It drives me crazy. I would have killed for a sibling. Another human. I just hung around with a cat all the time. That's all I had. I would have loved another human.
We always remind them that they need each other because those are the only two people that realize how crazy their parents are.
Yeah.
And so I said, if you don't have your sister, you won't have anybody. You can tell your friends, but they aren't going to get it because they didn't grow up in our house.
Right.
So you were the only two people who can commiserate with one another about how crazy Dad and I are and all the quirks because, I think of myself as normal and Richard thinks, but every family has like its own quirks and weird stuff that when you go out in the world and you see how other people did things, you're like, oh, that's interesting.
That and as best of intentions as we have, they're going to be damaged in some way. There's going to be something there where they go, oh, my mom didn't do ABC and I really needed that. Or
my mom was 2. My mom wasn't enough.
Yes.
My dad was 2.
There's
my dad
something.
wasn't enough. Yeah.
I can give you a laundry list of how Bert's fucking it up. But for me, it's going to be hard for them to come up with something. No. But there'll be something. There'll be something that doesn't work for them. And that, I'm cool with that. I'm cool with accepting responsibility for whatever they say I was inadequate or not enough. That's fine, because that's their perspective and their experience of life. But you're right. The only other person that can relate to that is their sibling. I think that's part of what was so hard for me about realizing a lot of the stuff going on with my mom was not me, because I didn't have anybody else to go, hey, is she doing that to you? Yeah. Okay. So this is not just me. This is a her. But when you're the only person, then you don't have anybody to compare anything to. You just have yourself. Really kind of
it's
hard.
destabilizing, I think. It's
a good way to put it. It's also very destabilizing is good. It made me question things that I think I wouldn't have questioned if I'd had a compadre to say, no, that's the same for me. And I'd go, okay, then I'm not gonna wonder if this is me. I'm going to know that it's not. Sometimes I would wonder, maybe I could have tried harder. Maybe I could have done more. Maybe I could have had another conversation. What else could I have done? And to have somebody go, no, mom's just crazy. You just don't worry about it. That would have been great. So then they can do that about me. No, mom's just crazy. Don't worry about it. How do we wrap this podcast up? Because I know you have a fancy summit lunch we have to go to.
Yeah, but it's like 10:30 in the morning.
Is it?
I don't know. I have no idea what time it is. It is
10:37.
Look at that.
I just have to acknowledge the funniest thing that happened this morning when I came over here and Leanne just said offhand, I'm not sure if Halston's here or not. And I was scrolling on Instagram and the very first post that came up was a picture of Halston here in the podcast studio. And I was like, oh no, he's here.
I know, it was really funny. That was a really funny moment.
Yeah.
I was like, that's crazy. I was out of the corner of my eye watching for you and I didn't see you come in. So I was like, I don't think he's here yet. And then she did that. It was really funny.
Oh, that is funny.
That was really funny. Anything else, ladies? I don't know. I enjoyed the conversation.
Yeah.
Did you enjoy it?
So homework is think about your story.
Think about your story.
Well, you have
your story.
You have bigger
I have bigger
homework.
homework.
What
Apparently.
story?
Doctor.
Wait,
No,
You said
storytelling.
storytelling.
Oh, yeah. Think about your story. Sorry. Thank you, producer. Thank you. I'm talent. I'm only talent. I'm in the moment. I don't know what you're talking about. I was thinking about the goal, the New Year's resolution. My homework is to write my New Year's resolution, which I am doing in that notebook you gave me. I have intentionally not started that notebook because I don't know how everybody else organizes everything, but I have a notebook for kind of every area of my life.
Yep.
And then I have one general notebook, like just everything that happens with house and kids. And then I have one for Girl Scouts. I have one for Bert's business. I have one for the podcast. So I know I put everything in the appropriate notebook. So I'm not flipping through pages of, I used to keep it all in one notebook and then I'd be like, where was that 18 pages earlier? So I just compartmentalized it. But I refused to use that notebook for one of those things. I was like, that notebook needs to be for something more personal. So maybe that's what I need to do is keep a notebook for me instead of it just keeps going in the general pile. Maybe that's how you get your doctor's appointment scheduled. You have a notebook for
wait a minute. What are
Cathy.
my days? Am I Tuesday, Thursday?
You're Monday, Wednesday,
I'm
Friday.
Monday, Wednesday, Friday.
I'm
Okay.
Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday, Sunday.
I was like, what do you mean? What are you?
Have you
That's
booked your
funny.
doctor's appointment? That's it. We just copy paste. Have you booked your doctor's appointment?
Well, today is my day. So this is just a in-person verbal.
Okay.
Kathy, you know what I want you to do.
Okay.
So here's what I'm going to do that's even worse. I'm going to call Steven and tell him we're doing it. Steven is so funny. Steven, I don't think, he may listen to this. Oh, well. He
It's okay.
sometimes calls and texts me about something we've
I know,
talked about here.
Oh,
Like,
does he?
Yeah.
Oh, that's funny.
Not very often, but sometimes he'll call and text me and go, thank you so much for saying that to Kathy. She needs to hear that so badly. And I tell her all the time and she does not listen to me. And I'm like, well, clearly she doesn't listen to me either. So it doesn't really matter.
That's funny.
But thank you, Steven. He's so great about that. He wrote me the nicest card. Do you know about this card?
I do know about that. Yeah.
It was very
Yeah.
sweet. It was very sweet.
Yeah.
He wrote me a card about my friendship with Kathy, about being grateful from him about my friendship with Kathy. It was really sweet. I
It was
kept
very sweet.
I'm
yeah.
never throwing it away. It meant a lot to me. He's a sweet
He's
guy.
really good about that stuff.
He's a really good guy in pretty much every way. He's a good guy.
Yeah.
He's a minch. Isn't
He's
that what
okay.
you call it? A minch. Except
I
when he
think
calls
that's
and
not
goes,
nice.
I have an earth's shattering. And I know it's 4 p.m. and you're walking in the door, but
Right.
revolutionary
That's
breakthrough.
what I learned in therapy. And oh my God.
Is he in therapy?
No, he should be in therapy.
Oh.
But
Maybe
it's
we should-
like it's that kind of stuff. It's that earth shattering, like I've just discovered this about myself. And I'm like, okay.
you need to be there.
Right. I need to be fully present.
Yeah.
And I'm like, this is okay.
I'm in
want to be.
Costco right now.
I want to be. I really want to be there for you. But really, right now, okay.
I know when stuff like that happens and I'm in Costco, do you do this? I just push the cart in a loop, like around one aisle.
Oh, I can't focus.
Over and over.
Yeah.
I can't. That's what I do because
Yeah.
I feel bad to just stand in the aisle. So I'll just go and loop one aisle over and over and over and over and over again when a big conversation comes in when I'm in Costco. I haven't been to Costco
I
in
just
forever.
wander. I haven't either, actually.
Me
And
neither.
you live
Thinking
right
about
next
that.
to it.
I know.
I love that place. I used to live there and just get lost. I used to go there and just walk the aisles, but no time.
Yeah, isn't that weird?
Yeah, you live right down the street.
Where's all my shit come from?
I don't know. You tell me.
Right? I was like, wait a minute, if I haven't been to Costco in a while.
Wait a minute. Toilet paper
How
just
do I never
appeared.
had one? I still have toilet paper. Apparently, because I bought it at Costco last
Yeah,
time. So
I'm manifesting toilet paper. It's just
Living the
multiplying.
dream.
that's right. I don't know.
Living the dream. Manifesting toilet paper. All right, this has gone totally off the rails. We're going to say goodbye.
Apologies.
No apologies. No apologies. This is what it's like to hang out at my house. Would you say this is pretty accurate
Pretty
to what it's
much,
like to hang out at my house?
yes.
Yeah, okay.
Usually there's a different beverage involved, but it's
Yes,
fine.
there is a different beverage.
And
Usually
more
later in the
animals.
day and more,
And more
animals. Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm writing my New Year's resolutions. You are
Writing.
writing your novel,
Working on your New Year's resolution.
and you are.
Working on, we'll have New Year's resolutions after today.
That's not it. You
You're
are.
getting a fucking doctor's appointment.
Yes,
Yes,
that's what I'm talking about.
yes.
Doctor's appointment. Don't think we're not checking back on this. Doctor's
Oh,
appointment.
I'm worried
Monday,
already.
Wednesday,
and you
Friday.
know what's going to happen. She's going to go to her physical, and they're going to go, you're fine. And she's going to go, see, I told you I didn't have to go.
Yeah.
I
And,
told you
and
everything was
we're going to
okay."
say baseline.
Baseline. That's right. Baseline.
Right. No, I'm not
Especially
going to
at
say
our
I didn't
age.
need to go. I won't say that, but I will be like,
I told you there was nothing
knew
wrong.
it.
I know. Yeah. There's
We
nothing
will
wrong with
celebrate. We will celebrate when you
you. I
have that.
agree.
Yeah.
I agree.
That
I'll break
deserves-
my
On our tour
protein
bus.
greens and celebrate just for you. Okay. Writing, resolution, doctor's appointment, and resolution. You have two.
oh,
Good
I need
luck.
a lot of work.
You do? You do not. All right. Till next time.